Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Before I introduce today's guest, I want to thank Vicki, who's been on the show, Vicki Brett Gock, who wrote an amazing new book for this awesome shirt in purple, and Carla for the matching earrings. So thank you guys so much. Now, today's guest is going to be making something. I have no idea to pronounce it. When I was little, I called it gyros because it's spelled Gyros, but I've heard it pronounced gyros and heroes. So whatever it is, it sounds absolutely delicious because it's a plant-based version made with jackfruit pork instead of real meat. And it's going to have some fries in it. And there's going to be some, I can't pronounce. I'm sorry. I'm going to butch
Tzatziki.
Tzatziki sauce, and I can pronounce this, a Greek cucumber noodle salad, and there'll be a sandwich involved too. And she's one of our favorite chefs on the show. We can have her back as often as she'll come because her recipes are delicious. They're not too difficult to make. If you missed the episode she did with hot sauce, you've got to watch that one. It was brilliant. Please welcome Chef Kelley Williamson. It's so good to see you today.
Good to see you too, Chef AJ, as always.
Good. Well, your food's so good.
Thank you. I try to definitely make things, easy and flavorful because that's what it's all about. And especially, and then also about eye candy. So when you look at it and you look at it in the refrigerator or you look at it on the table, you're like, my gosh, that looks so good. I just want to gobble it up. So that's what it's all about.
But where did you learn all this? Because you also are one of the best culinary teachers I've seen too. Because I know you teach a lot of classes in Colorado. Where did you get this level of skill and expertise?
I would say it probably started when I was probably about 7, 8 years old. My mom and dad worked, that's the normal families anymore. And so my mom was really good about, I would say probably back at that time and stuff, really good about teaching me how to cook. And granted, I came from Kansas, so it was like chicken fried steak, fried chicken, roast beef, you name it. It was always meat, potatoes, some type of iceberg salad, and then dessert. And so that's where I learned. And I just honed my skills doing that. And then, lots of school, lots of classes, lots of just going out there and experimenting. And I think that's what a lot of it is about too, is just getting out there and not being afraid of the kitchen and not being afraid of chopping things up or just buying things that are already chopped. And then just experimenting with different, spices and sauces and all that. And you're going to find what you like. And then you may end up getting to where you eat like 5 different things a week, which Jerry and I do too. But once in a while they have something like like these type of sandwiches and things like that. It's really nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you this creative in the kitchen before you went vegan?
Yes, I loved it. Yeah. So I was always one of those ones and stuff. I love to cook. And so it was always, trying to figure out how to make the best, granted, of course, 15 years ago, best chicken fried steak or the best, gravies or the best mashed potatoes and all those type of things. So I always loved experimenting and then making the plate look really pretty.
Yeah. Nice. Are you teaching any classes currently, either virtually or in person?
We do every 2 weeks and stuff. We're on Meetup. So meetup.com. So it's the Denver plant-based healthy cooking classes. And you'll see that if you go and look for that. Or you can just email me at Kelley, Kelley at Plant Based Kitchen. So every 2 weeks we're doing virtual. We're getting ready to, because we moved to a new area. So you'll see this is a new kitchen. If you've seen my other kitchen before, it was white. So this is all brand new. And then there's a clubhouse there. So we're going to actually start teaching there probably in July timeframe. Just kind of, but we're, of course, watching what's going on in the world and what's going on in Denver and, all those kind of things. So getting things back face to face.
Very cool. Are you in the same city though?
We are. We're only about 6-7 minutes away. So it's Inspiration, which is just outside of Parker. So not too far away. Yeah.
I love that. I love the name of that town. I live in Inspiration because I am an inspiration. Hey, shouldn't it be your birthday around now? Did you just have it? Are you going to have it?
It's coming up June 19th. Yes.
All right. Oh my, I knew it. You knew you were a Gemini. We'll have to,
yeah.
Or maybe a Yemeni, depending.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it gyros or euros? Yeah. All right.
Yes, it all works.
Hey, are you coming out with another book anytime soon?
I'm trying to work on it, but I also work full time and stuff, so it's a little bit tough to try to get time to get that going. But I have all the photos, I have everything else. I just need to find somebody that would work with me to publish it. So that's kind of where I'm at. If I can find a publisher or somebody that would work, tell me how to put it all together and make it all the pretty pictures, then it would be easy to do. It's just figuring all that part out.
Talk to me. I've helped a lot of people in that area.
Would love it. Would
All
love
right.
it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And tell your job to lay off so that you have more time to do this.
It's healthcare, so go figure. It's just it's a bad time for healthcare right now. So
That's because people don't eat plant-based.
exactly. I'm healthy. I'm proof of it. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, if this is her first time seeing you, because I know you and Jerry's been on the show too, and he has a great story of disease reversal. But what about you? Any spectacular reason for you going plant-based?
Well, of course, it was for Jerry at first, so because it's, it's your partner, so you want to make sure that they eat healthy, that they live a long life, they're around forever type of thing. But it's also, I had IBS. So I had that, which was a big problem and stuff. And it was like weekly. And then I also had migraine. So I was, taking the migraine medication. And the next step they said, well, you can try Botox. And I'm like, no, not going there. So it has cleared all of that up, which has been really, really good. And then Jerry, of course, with heart disease and all that, we're a very healthy pair now, which is great. So we're hoping to, especially around here and the area that we live in and stuff, to really start sharing that plant-based world, because there's, a lot of sick people out there and there's easy ways to fix that. So
Absolutely. And one way to fix it, probably the main way, is with the food.
exactly.
And what are you going to make first?
So we're going to do the plant-based gyros. So I'm going to start those first, and then kind of in the middle of it. So I'll do the Greek cucumber noodle salad. So I'll kind of mix up things a little bit because I need to get things in the oven so that we're all ready to go. And then I'll show you how to make them so beautiful that there's not a person in the world that won't want to eat it.
Okay. Can't wait.
All right. So we're all ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ingredients and going for the jackfruit. So let's go ahead and start that. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, you've got vegetable broth, so low sodium vegetable broth, of course, or you can make your own. A little bit of that in there. Then we're going to do red onion. If you don't have red onion, yellow onion, white onion, whatever you've got, but red onion, the red purple, some people call it purple, is so pretty that it's nice and things like this, especially when you're going to make up your gyro, that it's just beautiful. So we're going to get that going in there. And I don't know if you guys have noticed too, but the red onions right now are really potent. So they will make you cry. So just get ready. And then we're going to do the garlic, some minced garlic. Put that in there. And then while that's kind of sauteing up, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the potatoes, because it has French fries, which is what Chef AJ said, which is nothing better if you can put French fries and things. And if you also have it on the side, then you got your gyros, you've got your French fries, and then you've got your noodle salad. Who could ask for better? So what I did for potatoes, this is the easiest way to do it, is of course just take your regular potato, leave the skin on, and then go ahead and bake it. So I baked it at 350. So this was about an hour. So I didn't want it like it's really, really soft, but I wanted enough where you can feel that it's kind of squishy, but not all the way squishy. And then you just let them cool off. So these are ready to go. So two baked potatoes. You can also do this during the week. So you could bake up a whole bunch of potatoes just like this, and then put them in the refrigerator and then pull them out as you want them. So if you're like, gosh, let's do a plant-based burger tonight, or I want to have French fries with it, you've got your potatoes already. And it takes a lot less time in the oven and stuff to get them ready. So all you do is just slice them up. So slice them right down the middle so you can see they're pretty well cooked. And then depending on the thickness, if you want really thick steak fries, then you just leave them half like that. If you want them a little bit thinner, so I want them just a little bit thinner, so I'm going to slice them down the side again, lengthways. That. Then you grab your baking sheet, and then I have this kind of like this Silpat, and it has these little, and it's just kind of like these little these little like points and stuff, which are really nice. And what it does is when you put the French fries on that, or you put vegetables on that, it allows the air to go all the way around it. So it cooks a lot faster. So the potatoes are still a little bit warm. If they're really cool, then they actually slice up a little bit faster or a little bit easier, but you can see they hold up really well. So I'm going to put them on there, skin on. If they bust, you won't even notice it when you put it in the gyro. All right, let's get all this in there. And the nice thing about it too is when you're doing this, if you get crumbs, you get to eat them. That's the best part.
I don't remember what chef it was on, but this week we were talking about when the red onions, or any onion, is particularly strong, if there's a way to mitigate it by soaking it or something like that.
The only thing that I do, like if I'm doing a cooking class where, it's like you want to keep your makeup looking good because you know you have everybody coming in soon to the class. What I'll do is I'll take my I can't even talk today. So my cutting board, and I will actually start running some cold water here. So I'll take the cutting board right here, run the cold water, and for some reason that cold water and just kind of some of the mist that it's creating will actually keep me from crying as much. I used to do that in all my cooking classes. Not saying it works all the time, but it's actually really nice. It kept the mascara from running down my face, which is something that you don't want to do, especially when you've got a cooking class going. Okay, so I'm gonna just slice up the regular of the potato so we can get these in the oven. You could also, if you want, depending on where you're at, you can salt and pepper these. I don't do anything to them. I just let them cook naturally. And then if you want, you know, any type of other flavors or anything like that, then you can do that at the end. That one's got a little spot on it, so that one will go away. And if you get a really big fry, just go down the middle and then just slice it in half. Add a little bit more vegetable broth because this will be ready here in just a second. Once they're cool and they've been in the refrigerator for a little while, it's a lot easier to slice them. I had just actually cooked these up this morning, but still, they're going to be delicious. Grab them like that, separate them out. Make sure they're separate because you want to make sure you get the browning on all sides. And then, voila, French fries that are going to go in the oven.
Yum. I do mine. Do you ever do the air fryer? I do mine in the air fryer.
I did have an air fryer, and then we end up giving it away to somebody, and I've never got one since.
Well, that's a lucky.
I do everything the old-fashioned way. But air fryers work really, really well. Okay. So now that those are in there, we don't have to worry about the fries anymore. That is just as easy a way to do fries as you can do it. All right, so jackfruit, so this is cooking. Jackfruit is a fabulous product to use. When you get it in the can and it's in the brine, it's not as easy or it doesn't take on as much flavor. Or if you do buy it in the brine in the cans, I would recommend soaking it like a day before and really letting it take the sauce. If you buy it like this, which is the Upton's, so this is the one I buy. I kept the bag. So it's called Upton's Jackfruit Jacquier. So Upton's is my favorite brand out there. Upton's is also the ones that does it in all the stores, so like all your Whole Food stores, and you'll see it in these little kind of brown packs, and they have like a person's face on it in different flavors. That's the brand Upton's, but they will also sell it in these packs like this, which is, I don't know exactly how much, probably like 16 ounces or something like that. But this is a really good way. You can get it on Amazon, and I love the pack because it's actually a little more dry than it is in the brine, and you can see the color is a lot different. One thing people always ask is, can I just cut up the jackfruit, use it that way? Fresh jackfruit tastes like, if you ever have it, it's really, really good. But it tastes like probably cantaloupe, bubblegum, honeydew, and a bunch of other flavors together. But it's phenomenal if you just want to eat it like cold or just fresh fruit. But I would let it, you have to let it sit out and things like that. When it dries out a little bit more, that's when you get it like this. And that's when you want to use it in like, you've got barbecue sauces or anything like that. It comes in big chunks. So I kind of kept some of the chunks. So even in the pack, it comes like that. All you have to do is just, you can take with your fingers and just kind of like break it up. You'll even see, and I pulled a couple of them out, there's little seeds, because when you open up a jackfruit, there's little seed pockets that look like this. It's okay. Don't pull those out. Just take, if you've got a fork, I'll grab my fork here. Got a really sturdy fork like this. Just grab it and get in there and just kind of like mush it down. Like here. And like this one, look at that seed pocket. It's huge. But you get a fork in there, it just mushes down, and you don't want to waste anything. You can also, when you've got it, let's just say you get a big pack like that and you're like, oh, that's too much, freeze it. So just put it in baggies, mark what it is, and then freeze it. All right, that's all ready to go. So we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So we've got all the spices. So we've got ground cloves, cinnamon, cumin, dry oregano, chili powder, and I put it all in here so it's all mixed up together. And you think about it, you're like, cinnamon and cumin and all those, but it's absolutely wonderful. I guarantee you, you will love it. Mix that in. Then tomato paste, put that in. And then you're going to want to make sure that's really mixed up really well. Get all the goodies in there. The smell is like, you've got the cumin smell, you've got the cinnamon smell, a little bit of the oregano smell. One thing that I always recommend, even with my recipes, because we talk about spices a lot. And a lot of times and stuff, when you're out there and you're looking at Pinterest, you see something that's absolutely beautiful. And that one thing I always recommend is go low on your spices. So even if I say, so let's just say if I said a quarter teaspoon and a half a teaspoon of cumin. So a half a teaspoon of cumin, you're like, I'm not sure if I like cumin that well. What I recommend is go low, go out with like a little bit, like a pinch or an eighth of a teaspoon, try it, taste it, and then actually mock up your recipes the way you want, because you might want a little bit less cumin and I might want a little bit more. All right, so you've got everything in there. So it just looks like a good tomato paste. Now comes the jackfruit. And the nice thing about this too, it's like a one pot meal almost, which I love. Less cleanup.
Absolutely. Hey, Robin, who's watching live, says, can you talk about your nonprofit?
Oh, I lost you.
Oh, Robin says.
Oh, nonprofit. Yes. So we have a nonprofit. It's very difficult. We've been working on it for quite a while to get it started. And it's difficult in this world and stuff to get grants to get for nonprofits. But one of the things that I'm going to be working with, because I also do work for Food for Life. So they actually have, through the Veg Fund, they actually have grants now where they're offering it for, if you're a Food for Life instructor on the side, that you can actually get grants for either your for-profit or nonprofit. So that's what we're going to start working on. So we're going to start working with them to do classes, like if we can in churches and all kinds of different areas, and start using our nonprofit. That was something that wasn't sure if we'd be able to get, because they say it's very difficult to get nonprofits. But I guess we did such a good job of writing it up and our mission statement and all that. It took us like maybe 2 months, I think, to hear about it. And then it's just keeping it up, even though it's not active, but we want to get it active. Thank you for asking about that. Apple cider vinegar. And then the last two things you're going to add is the soy sauce and a little bit of maple syrup. If you don't want to do maple syrup, you can do date paste. You can do like a monk fruit sweetener. You could do no sweetener, whatever you would like to do. It just gives a little bit of umami on it, which is just a nice little flavor, because you've got that acid and you've got a little bit of the salt and all that. So it gives you all that flavor mix. I'll show you what it looks like, because it's all mixed up and it smells so good. This is probably, I would say that family-wise, and Jerry, this is probably one of their favorite recipes. Okay, so there we go. There it's all mixed up with the tomato paste and all the different spices, and you can just smell it. You could eat it just right out of the pan here and do your gyros, but I would actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a baking sheet with parchment paper. And I'm going to turn this off because it gets to be a little noisy sometimes. What I do is I like to put it in on a baking sheet with parchment paper, because then when you get it in there and it gets like really crispy ends and stuff, nothing better. Okay, so let me just dump it out. You also, if you make it up, so like I was saying, you can freeze your jackfruit. Must be a Sunday because I have word talk problems, but you can actually freeze up just the regular jackfruit. The other thing that you can do is you can freeze, like if you make this up and you have too much extra left over, you can freeze it up also. Just label it so you know what it is when you're looking in your freezer later. But it's a great way and stuff to have it if you're like, gosh, I would love to have those today. And you're like, oh, but I don't want to have to sit on the, run in front of the stove and mix it all up. It's a great way to get it going really quickly. Okay, so there we go. Baking sheet, just kind of spread out a little bit. I'll watch a little bit, toss it, but it's going to start getting all nice and crispy, which is where I love it. So you can see, easy to do. Just rinse here. All right, so tzatziki sauce. All right, another one of Jerry's favorites. So tzatziki sauce.
I just got to say, Jerry really scored with you.
Yes, he did. He was very lucky on that, because I've liked to cook my entire life. So he's there, back when before we even plant-based, he'd get chicken fried steak and pot roast and you name all those other things, and homemade apple pies, and I still do that. I just do it all plant-based now. Not the pot roast, not the chicken fried steak, but everything else is all plant-based. All right. Move that to the side because you don't need to see the blender. Everybody knows what a blender looks like. So to do the tzatziki sauce, there's many different ways you can do tzatziki. So you can do cashews, a cashew base, and you can use any type of nut, because I usually get the question about, can I use walnuts or almonds or something like that? Yes. You just want to make sure you soak them, because that's what gives you your creaminess. If you don't want to do nuts because you're like, oh, I stay away completely from nuts, and we don't use a lot of nuts here except for maybe once in a while in a sauce, then you can also use the silken tofu. So that's another way that you could do it. If you don't like either one of those two products, then the other way you could do it would be cannellini white beans. So you just want to make sure that you drain as much as you can off, and leave maybe just a little bit of moisture with it. And then you could actually blend that up, and then you can get tzatziki sauce. So many different ways, depending on your preferences or kind of the lifestyle that you're living, that you could do tzatziki. And it's really good. If you like cucumbers, it's good. All right, so on the recipe and stuff, that if you're looking at the recipe, I said you can do it in batches. I have, if you have like a regular type of blender, but if you have like a Blendtec or a Vitamix, you can throw everything into one blender and blend away. It won't clog it up, I guess. So cashews go in. They've been soaked. I actually started soaking them yesterday. But if you don't, like you say, you're getting ready and you're like, oh, I didn't soak the cashews, or I didn't soak the nuts, just grab some hot water and put it on the nuts and let it sit there for 10, 15 minutes. Or you can actually put it in the microwave for like 5 minutes and let it kind of heat up a little bit. And then you'll get your soaked nuts, which work really well. All right, so you've got that in there. And it's kind of fallen along. So we got the chickpea flour, but I'm going to actually leave that off to the side, because chickpea flour or any type of flours and stuff, of course, is to thicken it. So depending on your cashews, because some, will give you that creaminess right away and it holds up really well. And then some may be kind of runny. That's when you use the chickpea flour. So you don't always have to put the chickpea flour in right away. So I'd recommend kind of holding it off to the side. So then I've got the spices. So I've got garlic powder. I'll put the lemon juice here. I've got dried mint, because dried mint with cucumbers is really good. And of course, dried mint or any type of mint is really good in Greek food. So I'll just put that in there like that. Get it all out of there. If you don't have, like, you get into the cabinet and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm out of garlic powder or something, which I would say most of us probably always have it, then you can always just use regular minced garlic. So that'll give you that nice garlic flavor. But without having to get the minced garlic out and chop it and things, garlic powder works just as well. All right, then you've got the lemon juice, apple cider vinegar. That's all mixed together. You need the acid when you're doing a tzatziki sauce. All right, so got everything ready. If for some reason it gets to, like, you're grinding it up, you're blending it up and things, and it seems to be really thick, then you can just add a little bit of water, or you could add a little bit more like lemon juice if you want, or just even the vegetable broth, just to keep it going. Pull this over. So you notice it's starting to get a little dry. So I'm just going to grab some vegetable broth. You could also keep, if you have the cashews have been soaking in water, you could keep the cashew water too. That's another way to add the moisture to it without changing everything up. A little higher. Then we're going to check it out a little bit. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your tzatziki sauce, especially with your cashews, is really smooth. So you're always going to have a lot of things like some of the cashews on the side, the nuts on the side. So just scrape them down, because it's about having a really creamy sauce. So just put that in there like that. Go back, blend it some more. You can see it likes to make a mess. So if you did one with like a silken tofu, your sauce is probably going to be a lot whiter. If you do it with the cashews, you're going to notice and stuff that it's kind of a little bit more beige, just because it takes on the color of the nuts. It gets, oops, I made a big mess, didn't I?
Jerry will clean it up.
No, that doesn't happen. That's good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a bowl and I'm going to pull it out. And that way we can just kind of get the tzatziki sauce. scraping the sides. And I don't want it really thick. I mean, if you like it really, really thick, you can do that. But once you put it into the refrigerator to let it to actually let it chill up a little bit, your sauce is going to get really thick. So I'm thinking right now with the consistency, I'm not going to add the chickpea flour because it'll make it too thick. Just scrape out, trying to get as much of it as I can out. This will also keep in the refrigerator, as long as you keep it in like a glass container with a nice nice top on it. It'll probably keep in there for about a week and a half. So if you think about it, you could actually use this for, you know, the Gyros, but then you can also turn around and use it for like a salad or a potato or all kinds of different things. All right, so the chickpea flour is going to go to the side. Then I have grated cucumber. You want to keep those, sometimes there's a little bit of juice, sometimes there's a lot depending on the cucumber, but you're just going to want to add that into the last. You could, if you don't like chunks, you could actually blend it if you wanted to, but I like the chunks in there because it just makes it so pretty. So let me just grab another spoon, and you'll see that there's a little bit of cucumber juice in there. Just mix it up. Give it a nice mix. And this is one of the things too, the tzatziki sauce, you could make up a day or two ahead of time and just have it ready to go, which is really nice. All right, tzatziki sauce. So you can see just by making that small little recipe there, I mean, you could double it if you want, but it makes quite a bit of tzatziki for what it does. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge really quick. So it just has time to set up just a little bit. Check the potatoes. Looking good. I did get tzatziki everywhere. All right. Next, spiralizing. Spiralizing was a real fad for a long time. There was a lot of spiralizing that was done, and everybody's like, oh, got to do the spiralizing, and everything needs to be spiralized. And then I would say right now it's probably dropped off a little bit. I bought this Spiralizer on Amazon. It's like everything else in the world, I think now. It works really well. It was probably like $21, and it has, you can see, like 2 more blades that you can put in. I've never changed the blades at all. I just use just the way I've got it, just because I use it only for spiralizing. Let me just put this out of the way. Let's get everything ready for the salad. This is a delicious salad, and it's so fun, especially if you have kids that love cucumbers or big kids who love cucumbers. I'll say Jerry. Then it's really fun with it because it spiralizes the cucumber, and you wouldn't think that like a cucumber would spiralize really well, but they do. And it just makes it such a pretty and fun salad. So all you do is take a cucumber. Let's move this out of the way. I also wanted to tell you jackfruit, because Jerry went to the work of pulling out the information about jackfruit. So a cup is 143 calories. And then there's so much other good ingredients in it that you've got like vitamin C, vitamin B6, potassium, magnesium, D, all that. And then you've got fiber of 2.3 grams and sugar. There's some sugar and protein, but protein's 2.6 grams. So what a great way to get something that tastes good. All right, so cucumber, half. You could peel it in stripes if you want, like especially if you're, this is an organic cucumber, but if it wasn't organic and you didn't want all the peeling, you could do that. But what I do is I slice the cucumber in half, just because it's easier when you've got it, unless you've got like a steel spiralizer, it's just easier to handle when it's this size. So then if I have the spiralizer, I also have my chopped up spinach. So the spiralizer has a little hole here, and then it has your little kind of like your little prongs here. So you're just going to put this like your cucumber right in the middle of the cucumber, right in the middle like that. Grab it like that. Put a bowl, and then you just start pushing. That comes out, and it moves a little bit, unless you get it wet or something. There's a little lock on this side. It doesn't work. It's just pretty. So I just let it go, and then I stop for a minute, and then look at this. Break it off a little bit. You're going to get these pieces. That's just so much fun. Okay, that's hard to eat, so just grab it with your hands. Scissors, whatever you want to do, a knife, just kind of break up the pieces a little bit. Do some more spiralizing. right, add your pieces in. When it gets more towards the ends, then you're going to get a little bit smaller pieces with it. Fast, easy. Pull this back out. You get this nice little piece of cucumber that's left over. This is what you get to eat before it gets ready for dinner. So that's something to enjoy. All right, next one.
You get rid of the seeds, right? You don't want to spiralize with the seeds, right?
I spiralize the seeds, everything. Yes, because it actually is really nice. So like when you're trying to make, like you're trying to cut up stuff, a lot of times your seeds will be really mushy, but you'll see this is actually the interior of it, and it holds up really well when you're spiralizing. So I just do it right away. There's a couple pieces in here I would say that have maybe a little bit more seeds on it, but it still has, it's really good and it's holds together.
And Angela says, what brand, or Anjali, excuse me, what brand is your spiralizer?
I'll tell you. I left the box down here. It is World Cuisine. Works really well. Easy to clean, easy to keep. I've had it for probably 5 years, I think now, but it's a easy one to use. You can do hand ones. You can do all kinds of different types. This is just one that's just been easy to use. So I've just kept it. Yeah. Use it in cooking classes. So it holds up.
I just don't recommend one called the Vegetti. It's really cheap. It's $7.99. And when I used to use that, people would always cut.
There's all kinds of them out there, especially if you're not going to use it a lot. Don't go invest a humongous amount of money for it. Just invest, something that just easy to use and pull it out of a drawer or a cabinet and stuff when you need it. All right, that's it. You can do, I actually said two cucumbers, but since it's just Jerry and I, and it's a lot of salad to make, I actually just did one. All right, so kind of grab the pieces a little bit. Normally, if I'm in a cooking class, I put the gloves on. Jerry loves me. He doesn't care. He's usually got his hand in here when I'm making things. He's got his hand in here grabbing cucumbers, cabbage, you name it, right out of the bowl. Okay, there we go. Oops. All right. So then we are going to grab my bowl, make the dressing, easy dressing. All right, if you're following along, so we've got so 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and then lemon juice. So that's all together. And I used a reduced balsamic just because when you're using things like cucumbers and that, it's kind of nice to have it where it really sticks to it. So I got the reduced balsamic, and of course there are all kinds of different reduced balsamics out there. I know Chef AJ knows everybody who has any type of balsamic. So then they're all good. Then I did dried oregano, so a teaspoon. And then I've got nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast, a lot of people are like, what is nutritional yeast? You can tell it looks kind of like fish flakes. Back when I remember when my dad had a fish tank, but it actually gives you that cheese flavor. And so it's really good if you're going to have it, like if you do like a popcorn and you do a little bit of like black pepper, like grind it up and stuff, and then put the nutritional yeast, really good on popcorn. But this will just give it a nice little flavor with it. If you don't like nutritional yeast, just leave it out. So just mix that up. Then I've got a garlic clove. So that just goes in there, minced garlic. Add that in. You could also substitute a garlic powder if you wanted to do that. All right, that is the dressing. That is as simple as the dressing gets. So just a little bit, it just looks like a dark balsamic type of dressing. You could, at this point, you could actually add like mustard or things like that you want to. Always good to give it a taste. See if you need to add any more lemon juice or anything else. No, it's perfect. It's good. Perfect for my taste, I guess. All right, so that's great. Now back to the salad. Let me just do a check in the oven. Let me do a quick stir real quick with the jackfruit. It's looking great. All right, I balance that. All right, so we got the salad in here. And I'll just grab, always have the glove handy. Just kind of see how big, if you've got some pieces in there, this isn't bad at all. They're just some really great pieces. Like I said, that's the interior of the cucumber, and it holds up really well, even with the seeds. You could slice them out if you want to, but when you're spiralizing and you're making a salad, like if you're going to a picnic or something like that, you don't need to. Just spiralize it, and ready to go. All right, so if we're adding ingredients, so we've got, and these are great. These are these, and I know if somebody has an Italian accent, like Chef Antonio that we worked with quite a bit, he would say things in Italian that made it sound like delicious. I don't have the Italian accent, so Castelvetrano. So these olives are really good. They're a green olive, but they don't taste like a green olive because I'm not a fan of green olives. And they taste more like a black olive, but they are so good when you're doing like a Greek food. So this is one that you can do. And those are usually like you find them in the at the grocery stores, and they're kind of like in the specialty where you see the roasted red bell peppers and all that. Those are great to have along. So I've got those. I just sliced them up. You can get them unpitted or pitted. So I just made little slices of them, just because it just adds to the kind of the mouthfeel of the salad and the look and everything else. Then I've got tomatoes. So we did some cherry bombs of tomatoes. You could leave them whole. You could actually do.
Kelley, remember when you gave me tomatoes that you grew? It's like you've ruined tomatoes for me, because now every tomato tastes terrible compared to the ones you've grown.
Yeah, since we moved in the new house, we haven't done the garden and things. But yeah, when you actually do like homemade tomatoes, and you go and you grab the cherry tomatoes or something like that off the vine, they are so different. I remember when we picked you up at because we were doing the plant-based summit, we picked you up at the airport, and I think it was a bag like this. And I think by the time we got to the hotel, they were gone. You were just like, these are the best tomatoes ever. And then sweet potatoes too. You were talking about that I made sweet potatoes the best that you'd ever tasted.
I know, and you didn't really. Could you please be my mother?
Yes.
You're so.
You want me to? I can move. We'll move to California. We'll do that. That's nice weather, and Jerry and I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
In Northern California, it's really nice, and there's such a huge plant-based community here. Oh man, could you really? Are you 50? You're not 55 yet, are you?
Yeah, we are.
Oh wow. Well, because there's there's just lots of places there that. Oh man, would you move? I mean, seriously.
We've thought about it. Yes, we've actually talked, and one of the places we said would probably be. We were like, oh, you can go to Arizona, where everybody usually goes and stuff. But we're like, no, Florida. So it would definitely be California. That because Jerry loves Santa Rosa and all those places.
Okay, let's talk, because I want you up here. And then, but I see, unlike Jerry, I would do the dishes if you cooked for me.
Ah, that's okay. I do the dishes. He helps, but I do most of the dishes, I would say. It's just easier because I know where I want them and those type of things. So, all right. So I put in red onion, so you can see, the red purple onion. You can see that's in there. And so just look at the colors already without doing anything to it. Then avocado. So if you don't want the avocado, leave it out. I say, that's on the recipe. It does call for 2 avocados. I would say 99.9% of the time, I don't use 2 avocados. I'll use 1. And so one of the things I always do is I have this little avo saver, so like this one, I'm not going to put as much avocado in it. So I just take the one with the seed. I just put it right there. I give it a nice little wrap, a little rubber wrap, and then I put it in the fridge. That keeps your avocado actually fresh for like 4 or 5 days, which is really nice. So that's going to go in the fridge. Since I really cut down on the amount of salad, then I just do a hatch mark. And you could grab, when you're doing this, you can grab a spoon. A lot of times you'll see everybody with a spoon and their spoon. But if you don't want to dirty your spoons, just squeeze it. Out comes the little pieces, your little dice pieces.
You're clever.
Like less dishes. And there you go. There's the avocado. Move that out of the way because everything's going to come together. So if you get little pieces that are together, then don't worry about it. There you go. Look at that before I add anything on it. Isn't that pretty?
Gorgeous.
Okay, so we're going to keep that off to the side for just a minute. And let me check. Fries are looking good. Give it just a couple minutes. Then we're going to make. So I'm going to when I make the, let me just go ahead and put these in the oven. So we have Ezekiel 4.9. So this is food for life. So for some reason, and we don't know, and Jerry and I were trying to figure this out the other day, pita pockets are very difficult to find in Colorado. Don't know why, because they used to, abundant, like flavors and types and all those kind of things. We actually had to go into the freezer aisle and stuff to be able to find them these times. So I don't know what's going on with pita pockets. If anybody knows, let us know, but they're really hard to find. Do it. Whole wheat. Yeah, these are they're called Prophet's Pocket Bread. So I'll show it just a little bit. So you can get these, you know, like we have all the different frozen breads in the stores, but Ezekiel 4.9. Yeah, no oil, none of those things we don't want. So I'm going to grab out 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I mean, can you get Hannah yams or Jersey or white sweet potatoes there yet? Because remember,
we finally can. There's a store called Sprouts that actually has them. So otherwise, any other store, no. And I wonder if it's because they showed up right after you did the last time we did the summit, and they showed up probably about 6 months later. So it's probably because of you. People asking for them.
Sprouts is great. Sprouts always seems to have them.
Yes. But they're really little. Like here in Denver, they're really small. So like you can get like the yams and things that are really big. They're always like little small, about this big. So we get the leftovers from California, I think, is what we get. All right, so that's almost ready. All right, so I'm going to put the dressing on. So the dressing, as you can see, because I use the reduced balsamic, is really thick. So it doesn't take too much to get it going. So I'll just put the glove back on. And then we're going to make the gyros. And I'm going to show you a really fun, pretty way to do these. Okay, just drizzle a little bit on. So one of the things the reason why I put on a glove, one of the things that you want to do is, to not use as much dressing and to also make sure that everything's covered, is you want to massage in the dressing. So just kind of, if you had something that was like kale and you really wanted the kale to break down, then you would get in there with your hands and be like, grinding and breaking it down. This is such a delicate salad because of the cucumbers and the spiralizing things. You don't need to as much, but when you're kind of like massaging the dressing in like this, you will find, especially with balsamics, and this one, but this one's reduced, they will actually pool at the bottom on your salads. So if you get in there and you're kind of massaging it in and just making sure all the lettuce and cucumber and tomatoes and everything else catches it, you don't have that pool of dressing at the bottom. So you'll see there's no pool of dressing. Great, easy way to get there. And then plus, when you're mixing it in like this, you end up using like a quarter to almost half the dressing it's like you put it away and then you can use it for something else. And then to taste it, to know that you've got enough of the dressing in there so you got the flavor, you grab a piece of lettuce. Or if you don't have a piece of lettuce, like a green vegetable, and then taste it. If you need more dressing, you can add more dressing in. But if not, it's ready to go. I do this with all my salads. I mix in the dressing, especially if I'm going to mix in the dressing, I go in and massage it in because it just makes it so much better and it just covers everything. And I have enough dressing for a whole nother salad. All right, I'm going to put these in the oven because everything's almost ready, just to warm up for just a minute or two, just so I can make sure that I can bend them a little bit easier. And then I have this really fun paper. We used to do a lot of lunches for different groups and stuff, and so we'd make like the mock tuna salads and that. And a lot of times, what I would do is I would wrap them up. When Jerry would be doing classes, I'd wrap them up in this green and white, or you can get red and white paper. And these are like usually see like in like if hamburger joints, and they'll put the hamburgers and things like that on there. But these are really fun that people look at and they're like, oh, that's so much fun. Makes things pretty. All right, so they come in squares like this, and you don't have to do this. You could just use like paper bags type of anything that you've got that you want, something that doesn't bleed color. So you take it like this, you fold it in a triangle, and it's going to be like putting a diaper on it. So I'll show you here in just a second. So that's ready. And then you could have like the raffia, or if you have like ribbons or, all kinds of things, you can put name tags on them. You just want to keep that off to the side. Because once we make these, we're going to wrap them up in that, which makes them pretty. All right, so salad, get that going. And then we're going to make the gyros, and then we are set. What I'll usually do is I'll grab out the lettuce, because usually when you're mixing up a salad, the lettuce and everything else will go to the top, and then all your goodies are at the bottom, so you can see all the goodies there. So that way, if you dish it out like this, and then if you take a photo or you're serving it, you've got all the pretties on the top, which is what everybody's looking for in a salad. Smells so good. Jerry's happy because he's He's sitting there, he's already salivating because he's thinking about, oh, I got this, and then I got lunch tomorrow, and I don't have to think about it.
How long does the salad stay good?
So I've added, when I put it into a glass dish and I have a, one of those really like those snap tops and stuff, it will last, even with the dressing on it and the cucumbers and stuff, we've lasted up to a week without it getting like mushy, because there's nothing worse, I think, than a salad when it gets mushy. Let me just grab a fork. But what you could do is just kind of keep everything off to the side so you could spiral. So that's one of the things. I don't know if you've ever heard of this lady. This is great advertising for her. This book. Have you heard of her?
Oh, yeah. That book was just so phenomenal. So helpful in so many ways.
She's really good about making sure, like, look at the refrigerator on there. That's, so just, making sure that you understand how to store things and your lettuces and all that. So, and having all these type of dishes and not using the metal when you're storing things in your refrigerator. So you're not using the metal on your all kinds of dishes and their mason jars and all that really helps keep your food fresh for a long time. I've had my lettuces standing up. I used to do a lot of that, but then just covered lightly. And it stayed, I probably have them about a week and a half now without them getting like mushy and brown and things like that on the side. So, all right, so there is the Greek cucumber noodle salad, that's all ready to go. And then now I'm gonna grab the tzatziki sauce out and we're gonna make the gyros. Yum. Give your tzatziki a little stir when it comes out, because your moisture is going to separate a little bit. All right, done. Got the pita pockets. Jackfruit. Look at that. You can see like let me hold it a little bit with the paper. You can see the caramelization and things happening on the sides. Let me grab a hot pad. That off to the side. French fries.
Do you do anything special for Halloween?
Do I do anything special for Halloween?
Well, I mean, the reason I asked is I want to have you back, and I'm always booking about 6 months ahead. And I just noticed I don't have anybody for Halloween. Do you do anything special for Halloween, like Halloween dishes or?
I could. I've got quite a few because we've done classes and stuff around Halloween. So yes, I could definitely do some things for you that are fun. Like some, I don't know, creepy crawly things or something, but they got to be good to eat, but not.
But because
bad,
you work,
right?
you actually work a real job too, so you could probably only do weekends. I'm guessing Halloween's on a Monday, but I think that might be fun.
As long as we book it out ahead of time, just let me know.
I'll just call you at work and tell them sorry.
Yeah, that works. All right, pita pocket, fluffy side down because that's the side that you're going to eat. So then grab your tzatziki. Kind of smush that around a little bit. Add as much or as little as you want.
Listen,
a lot of times and stuff, like when you're doing burritos, if you put too much inside of it, of course, what ends up happening, everything falls out to the side. So I actually did red leaf lettuce because I think it's beautiful. So you could do romaine, you could do, shredded up lettuce, whatever you'd like to do. But I love the color of it when you're making this. So I have that in there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of the jackfruit. It's so hot. It's just like steaming. It's really good.
Can I read a nice comment about you?
You sure can.
Robin says, this is my first time seeing Kelley. She is delightful and makes everything look so yummy, but she makes it taste yummy. I can attest to it. I've had her food, even like sweet potatoes. I don't know what she does to them. And Thomas says, where do you buy the avocado saver?
The avocado saver, you can get it on Amazon. There's you get 2 of them for, I think, under $10. And it's called AVO Saver. They're the best things in the world. You can take them, like if you're going to take it to work or that kind of thing, it just keeps it, you just make it as tight as you want to do it. And then it, like I said, you can have it for a week. You're going to get a little bit of browning on the edges, but just slice it off. And you got this great avocado keeper. I love it. It's like an avocado shoe. Okay. So I'm going to put this, the actual gyro on here. So I've got the point size down. So it's facing me. So I have that sitting there like right in the middle. Then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. I got cucumber, I've got red onion. Okay, the other thing I was going to grab, I love this. Jerry and I have been doing a lot of sprouts and microgreens lately. So I have a little bit of sprouts. Tomatoes, sliced up tomatoes. I got everything. Yep. Okay. So then you're going to fold it up like that. These are smaller pitas, so they're not going to fold all the way. If you've got a larger pita, it's going to come all the way. Then you're going to grab the pointed edge, pull it up. It's like wrap. If you've ever had kids, it's like wrapping a baby diaper. Pull the one side in, pull the one side over, grab your string, and if something falls out just like that, just put it right back in. Grab your string. Do a nice little bow. Like I said, if it falls out, it's okay. Then grab your pretty dish. And there's one. Quickly, we'll do another one real quick. Line that up. Lettuce. Jackfruit. Guarantee you, even though you have extra jackfruit left over, you're going to find uses for it. You'll put it on a salad or all kinds of different things. It's very, very tasty. Couple onions. Very end. Okay, sprouts. Oh, Jerry didn't tell me. Oh, I messed up the first one. I didn't do the fries.
Then you'll just have to eat that first one.
He will. He'll just have extra fries. So there we go. 3 fries in there, 2 fries, whatever fits. Wrap up the baby.
Anybody here from Pittsburgh watching? Because I was telling Kelley before the show, my brother, when he was alive, lived in Pittsburgh, and they have a place there called, I think it's called Piemonte Brothers. And because I've been going to Pittsburgh since I'm 12, so for 50 years, and they had these sandwiches, and I was able to get them vegan by not getting meat or cheese, and they put coleslaw and fries on their sandwich, and it was like the best thing I ever ate.
Yes, anything like that is really, really good. Tell me where I'm at with time.
Problem is I don't eat bread anymore. It's been like 10 years, but you know what? I find things are good in lettuce wraps. Like, you know, I don't know if you know this, Kelley, like I eat fries quite a bit, and I call them fries in disguise. So when I make those thick steak fries or oven fries or air fryer fries, I wrap them in like romaine leaves with the barbecue sauce. They're quite good that way. They
are. There's nothing better. And I love wraps, especially if they're like the lettuce wraps, romaine, red leaf, doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, I love it. Take a little tzatziki on this one.
How do you manage?
One more, and then we're right fry. Don't forget the fries, lady. Okay, pull it up like that. Wrap it up. Wrap the baby. Don't have to wrap them to do them, but they're just pretty when they're wrapped, especially if you're going to do a party or something like that. We've taken these over to Jerry's daughter sometimes and bring them all wrapped up like this, and they disappear really quick. And I put a tomato on that one because there's tomatoes kind of fell down. All right, there's the 3 little tzatziki sauce. And we are at time. So pull that off to the side. Sprouts off to the side, microgreens, all good for you. All right, so, oops. Do on both sides here. So there's my Gyros. There you go with the side that has all the yummies. Here you go. All wrapped up, ready to go. Think about this. If you had a plate that had 12, 15, 20 of these on there, you would be the hit of the party. And then the Greek noodle cucumber salad. Doesn't that look great for lunch today?
Man, maybe you could stuff the salad in the sandwich.
Make everybody crave something like this to eat. I agree.
Well, your presentation makes it look like little presents. It's so
they are. They're wrapped up presents of love, plant-based love.
Well, you're my hero. Or Shiro. You're my Shiro.
Mine.
Wow. And you got this done in under you're amazing. Well, October's open, so find a date that works for you.
Okay.
We'd love to have you back, at least quarterly. some people want to come up monthly, but I know that you work and let's get that book going for you. Anything
I agree. I will be calling you about that because I would love to talk about that and get that going because I have so many recipes and so many things to offer. So would love to do that.
Yeah. So anything you want to promote now, your classes, are these free meetup classes?
Free. They're free. They're on Zoom. So you just go to meetup.com and Jerry's going to post a link right now just for that. So yes, please come enjoy. We do it every 2 weeks. We, answer questions. We always come up with different recipes for everybody to try. So those are really fun. And then, like I said, we'll probably be starting some face-to-face. We're just kind of watching the lay of the land, I guess, in Colorado first. And then once things kind of open up a little bit more, then we'll get back to in our community and stuff, getting some plant-based classes going together. So.
All right. But I think people should pay you.
Yeah, down the road. Yeah, I agree. It's good.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure the link that Jerry just posted in the chat, which I'll also post in the larger chat right now, is also in the show notes if you gave it to me.
Yes, they are. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, thank you. You're so talented.
Thank you.
Please just move a little closer, just a little. Come on, you guys can do it. We have hospitals out here.
Yes. We'll talk because we've thought about it, believe me. So,
and we both have Havanese, so we have a
yes.
shared love.
She's here now. So here we go. There's Georgie. There's my little baby.
Havanese are just, they were bred they're called Velcro dogs for a reason. That's all they want to do. And Bailey's right over there. She's sleeping now, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I love Bailey.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Kelley and Jerry.
You're welcome.
All right. That was a wonderful presentation. Recipes in the show notes. You can see them on YouTube. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. We will have Kelley back soon, but tomorrow we will start the week with Dr. John McDougall and Mary McDougall. He will be giving a brand new lecture of the lower intestinal tract. He gave the upper one 2 weeks ago, but when Dr. McDougall's on, we tend to go a little long. So we'll be starting at 10 a.m. Take care, everyone, and enjoy your lunch, Kelley and Jerry.
Thank you. Love you, Chef.